Hitting $40,000 months or scaling your agency to $1 million per month can be drastic and sometimes feeling unbearable. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why that is and also what you can do to course correct that to put yourself in the best position to be successful. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5+ years, we've helped 550 plus agents issue pay $40,000 per month. On this channel, I try to talk about the strategies, tactics, and behaviors of those individuals and what you can go out and do as well. So make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Let's hop right into it. So I hope everybody's had a great weekend. Today, I want to touch on something because it's something I'm doing as well as something I'm experiencing with my clients. And I feel like it's useful, right? So the question is, why is scaling or growing my agency so difficult? Now, this video can really be expanded across all industries, but this is tailored around life insurance agents. So that's solo agents. That's going to 40K per month. And then life insurance agency owners. And that's going towards 1 million a month. Right? And here's the thing, is understanding why is this such a difficult task? Why are so many people chasing after it? What does it represent? So let's start with if you're an agent. All right. So let's go with the agent situation. All right. So 40K a month. Now, typically what you hear in traditional business settings is this. They're going to say, hey, I want to make 10K a month. That's like the $1,000 a month. And typically what that means is you're just self-employed making 10,000, right? So you're like, hey, if I make 10,000 a month, that's making 100,000 plus per year, right? That's why they say that. Now, as a life insurance agent, you have to equate to the fact that you're getting an advance. Okay. So how do I feel as if I'm actually pocketing $10,000 a month? All right. So if I make $10,000 a month as an agent, that's absolutely nothing. All right. And why? Because it's advance minus expenses. So that's leads and chargebacks, fall off, chargebacks. Okay. So when you think about that, you take your 10, let's say you spent 2-3 grand on leads, and then you get a charge back. You're left with like $4,000. It's like you're not really doing anything. Okay. And this is $10,000 per month and an issue pays. So annual premium, let's just call it 15 to 20. Okay. Now, what you want to do is if you can take that same principle and do that $10,000 per month, but condense the time to doing it per week, that gives you 4 weeks times 10,000 per month. Sorry, 10,000 IP equals 40,000 per month. IP issue paid points, that means like actually going towards the bank account, like counts towards the commission, and then you get your advances. So now you can pocket and put away, 18 to 25,000, right? Roughly, just making that simple. Okay. So now you're actually making, and then you take away your expenses, and now you're making $10,000-$12,000 going into your bank account net at the end of every month. That's really where you want to get to, right? And part of that is difficult because what you have to learn the skills to make $10,000 per month first, okay? Typically, that's just like working phones, grid, tonality, handling objections, okay? It's like being able to close, and let's say each client is $1,000. It's 10 clients in a month, all right? That's literally basically 3 clients a week. It's not hard. It's really not. Now, what makes scaling to 40,000 difficult for some people is because now you have to do that process, but in a quicker time span. So you have to take that same exact process that you're having and now turn it around and do it a whole lot quicker. So now you're going to turn around and do that process faster. Okay. That's how you make $40,000 a month. You're not changing anything. So what took you an entire month to do, you have to do it in 1 week. So if you were spending $2,000 on leads in 1 month, now you have to spend $2,000 on leads in 1 week. See, people, you get it confused. You're like, oh my goodness. Now, what this requires is you also have to learn, because if you're spending $2,000 on leads in a month and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to work this many leads. We start spending $2,000 a week, your sense of urgency has to increase. You have to turn around and be like, yo, I got these leads coming in. So you got to close quicker and more effectively, still write good business, right? Be able to manage your day to day and handle the infrastructure of everything coming together. That's why it feels so hard scaling as an individual agent. Now, why do I bring this up? Because when you think about it, what's the difference? Okay. So now if you're an agency, okay, let's say your agency is doing $100,000 a month. Okay. This is your life insurance agency. Composed of, there's a lot, and this is the thing. There's so many ways to skin growing your agency. So many ways. All right. You can scale horizontally. They call this width. This basically just means hiring more directs to you. Okay. Not going to go into the pros and cons of that. Vertically, they call this depth. That means building each direct a large team. Okay. Now within that, okay, this is basically part one. Okay, so you decide how you're going to do it. And then it's like part two, if you want to call it. So let's just call this part one. And the reason I know this, y'all, is because I work with a ton of agencies and I pay attention and listen and I know what they're doing, what works and what doesn't. Right? Is large number of agents. So this is more of a volume AP approach. Okay? Or IP, AP, like volume sales approach. Let's just call that. And then you have a quality sales approach. So this is not volume. This is more high end. It doesn't matter. I'm using fake words, right? Now, what does this actually all mean? Okay. Now, if you're an agency and you're trying to figure out, okay, I want to grow and I need to figure out how I want to grow. Okay, you can do one way. You can scale horizontally, which basically just means that if I'm an agency owner, I'm going to go hire more individual agents to have direct to me and help them build their singular team. If I go depth, that means I'm going to hire a few people, and each of those people I'm going to pour in to help build their teams, right? So you want to have depth and width. There's pros and cons to both. Width means you can make more money, right? But it's a little bit riskier because if one person falls off, you lose that whole component. All that stuff rolls up to you. Depth gives you more substance, right? It protects you, but you don't have as much profitability because as they grow, their team grows, you make less, right? Now, why that's difficult in scaling? Because you have to play this game of how many more people do I bring in horizontally? How many people do I bring in vertically? Now, I'm not the master of this. I'm not saying that I am. These are just concepts, okay? What I know that individuals are doing. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I'm just here to tell you what to do. That's where my fine line stops. Now, when you look at part two, this is the thing that I do know. This is how you scale those teams, regardless if you go width or depth, doesn't matter. How do you scale those teams? Now, the most profitable way to do it, and also the safest way to do it in a lot of times, is going to be the high-end quality sales approach. It is also the more difficult because it requires you to pour into the people and teach them how to teach people how to teach people how to grow and how to make money. So, for example, I bring in John. John makes $40,000 a month. I teach John to help more people make $20,000, $30,000 a month. We scale. We got 10 people that make $30,000 a month. That's $300,000. That's nothing. 10 people, $30,000 a month, $300K. Right? I get 10 people, 10 other people. John knows how to do 50,000, and he can teach 10 other people to do 40,000. That's 400,000 plus the 50,000. That's 450,000. Right? Now, if I can teach that team how to go out and do that, so now I'm growing, right? But the real thing is if I can teach 10 people how to do $30,000 a month, and they have their team of 10 doing $300,000, and I get my override and they get their override, then I'm cool. So that's a horizontal scaling strategy. but that means that they make more money. Now that becomes difficult because you have to balance between figuring out, do I just want to have ultimate protection? Do I want to have a little bit more risk and get a higher upside? That's why scaling can become difficult for people. Now, for others, it's not, because depending on the type of person you are, you just put all of your eggs into that basket and then you scale it, which means you do both. That's the best way to do it, is both. Now, when I came up, it was all about depth. Width wasn't really a thing, at least not in the company I was a part of, right? Now it's becoming a mixture of both, which is beautiful and brilliant. So, what I've taken from this and why I'm bringing this up today is because I have these same difficulties in my own business, and then I view them in my client's business. And how the leads help is because once you put together the lead in the sales, you can figure out which one of these. Because to me, this is a lot more important. This is important, just as important, because it creates the profitability for you. But this is important because this actually lowers the friction in your mind about how to scale. If I could teach less people how to make more, then it's less of a headache. Because if I have 10 people, if I have 20 people doing 50,000, that's $1 million. Which I'm not saying you're gonna have 20 people doing 50,000, but it's much more feasible to have 40 people doing 20,000 than it is to have 10 people doing 80,000. Right? It's still 800,000. So it's like, and it's also, it could be seen to have, the reason why I started with 10 is because if you get more people to do $10,000 a month, on paper it may seem good, but it's not, because a lot of those people aren't making money and they'll end up probably going out of business. If you can make each agent profitable, you decrease the likelihood that they're going to leave. So then you stack your wins. If you have people that are in the middle, which is typically like that 25, 30K range, if they're on the lower high end, depending on what type of business they're writing, they're a few checks away from getting out of business. If they're really low and they're working friends and family, you're cool. Like if they're making 10K and they're not buying leads, like you're kind of straight, right? But if they're making 25K and they're buying leads, it's like they're not really getting ahead. Like they'd be better off going to 40K or going down and working. Like, so you have, that's what makes scaling difficult, because people grow and lose people, grow and lose people. It's like if I hired somebody on my team and they came in and not only made them like 6 bands and they didn't make any more money, it'd be like, dude, I came here to make 15,000 plus a month. Why am I making 6 bands? Then I would have to figure out how do I put the systems in place to put them in position to succeed. So if I can do that, now I can ensure, like, okay, they're going to find success consistently over and over and over again. And you, as an agent or agency owner, need to also figure out how to write 30, 40, 50K so you can show more people so they can go out and do it, so you can create a more profit, and then you can start scaling. If you just really study the people who've really mastered, not me, I'm not a master at all. I just study it and I talk to a lot of people and I work with a lot of people. The people that are really, really crushing it, there's one thing that they're doing, depending, is they've chosen which not of part one, because there's typically a blend, right? But of part two, they've chosen what strategy you want to go with, and that's what they focus on. I'm gonna have a lot of people make a lot of bread, right? And each person is gonna be really profitable, or I'm gonna get a whole lot of bodies, and we're not gonna make a lot, but it's gonna stack up. Gotta pick one. That middle ground is where people die. That middle ground is where people get lost. Right? So I hope this video helped. Short one, quick one to start the week off. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Have a blessed day. If you go to Lead Lab CRM, you can check our leads out. We have $2.50 to $55. We're coming out with new leads. We're actually going to have our annuity leads are dropping today. We have new trucker leads that are dropping today as well. And then if you go to agentleadlab.com, you can book a call to speak with somebody on our team. We can go through all of our process and we can get you set up. So as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.